Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and now since then I got my worst of 2019 list out of the way. Now I'm moving on now to my favorite or best movies of 2019. Now, like I said, all in my opinion. Now on my worst list. If you like any of why I put on my worst list, that's fine. That's cool. We all disagree on that. And if for my favorites list, if you dislike any of them, that's your opinion too, and it's cool too. So, like I said, that's what we enjoy movies. We agree or disagree on what films we like. So, just still putting it out there. I respect for other people's opinions, and I respect for, you know, respect from all my opinions, which is good because I call a lot of people saying that I respect everybody's opinions. So, but like I said, we all agree, disagree on who to don't like, or don't like. So, but now getting into my before I get to my list of favorites this year, there was a couple of honorable mentions which that I also liked, but I did not put on my list of my top 10. But I got a few honorable mentions here, and this last year, 2019, horror has been pretty good. Surprisingly, there's been quite a few horror films I enjoyed last year in 2019. Because usually horror films are not to me. Horror films are not scary nowadays. No matter how they try to scare, except they always go the cheap jump scares. There's always what scare people nowadays. But the horror films last year has been pretty good. There's been quite a few, and there's a couple that are on my top 10 list. But here's some other ones that honorable mentions that I did like, but I didn't think they'd be in my top 10 though. First one, excuse me, is a sequel to a first film that I did like that came out back in 2017. Happy Death Day to You. I just picked these two up here. This one here, but Happy Death Day to You. I enjoyed the sequel. Yeah, I thought when they're making a sequel, like how are they gonna make a sequel to Happy Death Day? Our lead girl, Tree. She made it through. She made it through and is unable to broke that loop of starting over again. So, how are they gonna do that again? Oh, because in this sequel they explains how she was able to relive the same day over and over again, which that's another thing. Do you really need to find the origin how this whole thing started? That was an issue, but I thought the cast all the cast that came back, especially for the lead girl who played Tree and the guy that she liked, I thought did a good job. Still did a good job in the film, and that guy who appears at the ending of every time he walks in the room, he has much more larger part in this movie as well. So he has much more larger role than he did in the previous film. So the whole thing to explain this, especially it was this machine that why Kashi has the same thing over and over again. But despite all that, I still liked the movie. The cast does a good job, but there was a good. I thought there was one sad moment that I thought what made the movie, which I will get into when I plan to review Happy Death Day to You. So, but it was that was a this had a. So that sad moment made the film have a heart to it. That's what I was trying to get to. So yeah, Happy Death Day to You. So that's I like the sequel. I thought a sequel was not worth it though, but I liked it. Next honorable mention is Ready or Not, a killer game of hide and seek. Which, yeah, I got fresh Rotten Tomatoes, which. We agree to disagree on Rotten Tomatoes, but Ready or Not, I thought it was a very decent horror film or thriller, you can call it. But I thought the lead actress, Samara Weaving, I thought she did a really good job. Which is surprisingly, if you find out, I believe that she is actually the niece to actor Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving from many movies, especially playing Agent Smith from the Matrix movies, voiced Megatron from Transformers, Red Skull from Captain America: The First Avenger, many movies. So yeah, that's what I think she was. She's actually the niece of actor Hugo Weaving. I thought she did a pretty good job in this movie. So and there were some bits of practical stuff, like well, practical gore to be exact though. But yeah, Ready or Not, I thought it was a little bit of a different take on certain things, that we haven't seen much of in a horror movie. So, but yeah, Ready or Not. And the other honorable mention, which I've explained in my worst list because I'm of a franchise I'm tired of though, but still. Like I said I'm tired of Disney. Because I said because I know they're because they're a monopoly now. They're everywhere. They want to buy everything, but they ruined the Star Wars movies, and I am getting burned out. Starting to get burned out on the Marvel movies. I know my dad is. He said he doesn't want to see any more Marvel movies. He says he's all marveled out. But and then with the live action remakes, especially the freaking Lion King disaster. And one would do this thing. I still not yet seen Toy Story 4 yet. That's not the movie I'm mentioning. But the one Disney the film I did like out of 2019. Well, actually, I did like the Dumbo movie though, but that's not an honorable. That's not. I like the Dumbo movie, but that's not an honorable mention though. The one one thing I'll give Disney for last year is Frozen 2. I was looking forward to seeing a sequel since I saw the first one back in 2013. So yeah, that's the one Disney thing I'll give Disney was Frozen 2. Now I'll say I still like the first one. I think the first one is better still. The first one is better, but the voice cast like Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, voice wise, and what was the guy's name who voiced Kristoff? I forgot the guy's name, but I thought they did a fine job as well. Now the songs, the main song, like how the first film was Let It Go. The song here was Into the Unknown. Decent song though, but I don't think it's not the same level as the impact when Let It Go premiered. So, but I liked Frozen 2. But that was the one thing I'll give for Disney because for my top 10 list, nothing is Disney in this list because there's movies I fought far more any Disney film I've seen besides Frozen 2, but still no Disney movies on my top 10 list. I'm not giving Disney my credit. Well, I give credit to Frozen, and I'll probably mention Dumbo too, though. But that's it. I'm starting to get tired of Disney because it's a great shame to me because I loved Disney growing up. But yeah, so yeah, honorable mentions: Happy Death Day to You, Ready or Not, and then Frozen 2. So now I'll get into my top 10 list. Now starting with number 10. Which I think it was which I just picked this up, and I did see this in the theater, but the fact is though when I saw this in the theater, I was like only one or there was only like 2 or 3 people that saw this in the theater with me, and I was one of them. So of the whole theater where I saw this, only like myself included 3 people saw it. And this film barely did nothing when it came out. When it came out, and it's a shame because I like this. I like the concept of the movie, and that is of Don't Let Go. Yeah, because why I mentioned this because this film only made about $5 million. This film did nothing. So a lot of good movies I see. Of course, they don't do that well. It may get some some praise though, but it didn't do well. Go figure. But yeah, no one saw this when this came out, and like I said, I saw this in the theater. I was like one of 3 people who saw this while I was in the movie theater watching. Goes to show how much people give a crap. But yeah, Don't Let Go. I thought it was a very well told story, and the way why I like this movie was like a concept they took from Frequency. Frequency, if you remember Frequency, the 2000 movie with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel, because how they talked, father and son, they talked to each other through the radio, but it's like years apart. But here it's kind of like in the realm of Frequency, because except in this film, David, I'll pronounce this last name, David Aiello, mispronounce his name, but he's a cop, and his niece gets killed. His niece, played by Storm Reed. But he talks to her when she's alive, but it's like in the span of 2 weeks. So, and he has like this time to solve her murder by talking to her in a different time space within 2 weeks before she gets killed. So, and I like that. And I like the whole concept of using like the concept of frequency, and which I like frequency. That's a good movie because both Jim Caviezel and Dennis Quaid both play off each other very well as father and son. So, but yeah, that's one thing. It was the same thing like this, and Don't Let Go, because I thought I liked the whole concept, and the cast does a good job too. As a David Ayo, he's a good job. Storm Reed, who plays the niece, her too, and other supporting cast members. You have Brian Tyree Henry, which he's been a couple of movies last year I've seen. He was in Joker. He was like the warden or the attendee that Joaquin Phoenix stole the file from the Arkham Asylum, or he was in the Child's Play remake. He played the detective. And I know he's starring next year. He's going to be starring in Godzilla vs. King Kong and the Eternals. So, but he does a good job in this here for a role he has. And Michael T. Williamson, who played Baby-O from Con Air, or Bubba from Forrest Gump, or Dwight from Free Willy, and what was his character's name? From The Purge, Election Year, the third one, Dixon, Joe Dixon from Purge, Election Year. He's a role in this. I thought he did a good job too. It's nice to see him, Michael T. Williamson, and also Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus himself from Spider-Man 2. He's in this as well. I like him, so he did a good job too. So, yeah, Don't Let Go. It's a shame this film didn't do that well. Score figure, especially when the company of Blumhouse, Jason Blum, who his company, but it was a pretty good movie, very very good movie. I recommend you check it out, and I'll get more in depth when I review this movie sometime. So, but yeah, give this a look. What am I throwing it over there for? Next is another film that also bombed, of course, but this one got a lot of praise. This one right here, it says calling it one of the year's best films, and I definitely see why, because I enjoy this movie a lot. I was seeing a lot of movies in the theater last year, so this one got praised, but this film bombed as well. But starring Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones, and that is Ad Astra, and it's another space movie, and it's another great one. I thought, especially Brad Pitt, I thought he does a bang up job in this film. His character goes to search for his father, played by Tommy Lee Jones. He's been missing for a number of years. For the role that Tommy Lee Jones have, which I love. Tommy Lee Jones is another one of my favorite actors. For his role as a father, he was very good. Liv Tyler, she's in this, and so is Donald Sutherland too. Visually, it's really good looking. The film is, and Brad Pitt. Yeah, I thought it was one of his finer roles I've seen of recent. So, Ad Astra. As I said, this one got praise. That's because this one here calling it one of the year's best films. But this film bombed badly. Go figure. I think when I mentioned my list of box office bombs of last year, this was on there. Tired of all these, because people don't want to see the films like these that's not related to anything that's Disney related for anime movies or the Marvel movies or other superhero films. That's what makes the money nowadays. Go see films like this, and especially for another space film I enjoy. Especially for the other ones like Apollo 13 or Gravity. That's another great movie I enjoyed from 2013. I think that was my favorite last year, or was it second? I forget. But Gravity is great. Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey does a really good job. I enjoy Matthew McConaughey. He was the best part of the movie. Visually, It was really good looking in Interstellar. I think I would put it was like Christopher Nolan's best film if it wasn't for that stupid ending that has bugged the hell out of me. That ending just really just bugged the crap out of me out of that. But yeah, the rest of the movie was good up until the ending. So, but this film I thought it's another good space movie. So, Ad Astra, I definitely would recommend you watching this. But because like I said, for Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, and you got Liv Tyler and Donald Sutherland, give Ad Astra a watch. See, my next one on the list. That was number 9. Number 8, which is, but hasn't came out yet though. So number 9, as I mentioned, this film is, to me, this is the best DC film I've seen. Well, actually, I forgot to mention another honorable mention because that was also DC as well. I forgot to mention I like Shazam. That's another honorable mention I did like. I forgot to mention I like Shazam. That was another good one. I appreciate they're trying to be the lighter tone like Marvel, especially all the other DC films compared though. But I like Shazam. But I'll get to that some other time though. So that's another honorable mention I forgot to mention. But number 8, which I hate. When I did get my thoughts on the film for the trailer or whatever, I did talk bad about it. I did. But this film proved me wrong, and I'm manning up to it. It proved me wrong because of how the way I thought. Do we need a story about this character? And that is of Joker. I enjoyed Joker, but I did say though when I did my thoughts on the video, I did say that Joaquin Phoenix looked like he would do a good job. I did say that though, and he did. And he did. Joaquin Phoenix, he did a bang up job as playing as the Joker. Especially it was in the trailer, but I enjoyed the dialogue when he said when it was in the trailer. It's like, you don't listen, do you? You ask me the same questions. How is my job? Any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts. I like that. I like that line, especially when we got from the trailer. But yeah, he does a good job here with saying it though. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, he did a really great job as playing as the Joker. Especially, like I said, you're supposed to feel sorry for him and sympathize with him. Like I said before, Heist was a sympathize who was the supervillain to Batman, who was a murderous psychopath. But here, but he not only did a great job, but the other cast members like Brett Cullen, who played Thomas Wayne, shows that Bruce Wayne's father is a dickhead. Basically, and I get the whole concept though. The meaning is going behind because like how higher class looking down on the little man, like lower class or even the middle class though. That whole concept, the whole thing of that, which I don't want to get into right now, but it's that whole meaning behind it. I do get that, and even how the look of how Gotham is, like it's all trashy, there's trash everywhere, and the crime and all that stuff. But it was really good. It was a good looking movie, and which surprised me. This is this guy Todd Phillips who directed the Hangover movies. So yeah, I thought he did a really great job. Surprised me because the guy directing the Hangover movies as well as Due Date is directing a Joker movie. It surprised me. He did a really good job. And as for the other cast members, Robert De Niro, who plays this comedian, which he was supposed to be playing his character like from the movie he did years back, Kings of Comedies. He's supposed to be playing a character of that. And I thought he did a good job too, as well as supporting cast members like Brett Collins playing a good job of playing an asshole Thomas Wayne. But yeah, Joker it definitely surprised me. So to me, it's the best DC film I've seen in years since. Well, everybody hates the movie still, but it's the best film I've seen since the Green Lantern movie from 2011 with Ryan Reynolds. I'm one of the few people that likes the Green Lantern 2011 movie with Ryan Reynolds. I'm one of the few. I like Green Lantern. has been in. But also like you mentioned, Shazam I liked. To me, that's like the best of the DC extended universe. That's the best, easily the best one. I enjoyed that. So yeah, yeah, two DC films that came out in 2019. I enjoyed. I like Shazam, but that's not my top 10 list though. But Joker, I really did enjoy. Joaquin Phoenix, I think he's getting a Golden Globe nomination. I'm not sure about an Oscar, but I'm pretty sure he'll get an Oscar for it. Which is kind of ironic because Heath Ledger, he won his Oscar for playing a Joker. So I'm surprised that Joaquin Phoenix getting the awards for playing Joker too. So the way he laughs, and which I didn't know that was a condition that's addressed in the movie. You know, oh, it's a medical condition. I laugh hysterically. So yeah, Joker, I give it applause for. I surprisingly I enjoyed it. Like I said, I talked bad about it when I did that video, but it proved me wrong. So I'm manning up to it. I enjoyed Joker. So yeah, that's number. What was it? Yeah, that's number 8. That's number 8. So I give a thumbs up for Joker. Like I said, Joaquin Phoenix, great, phenomenal job. It's probably his best role I've seen. Yeah, it's because the roles he's done for the past how many years. But here, great, awesome job. Number 7. And we mentioned about Stephen King, which this film is easily better than Pet Sematary Remake or It Chapter 2, or should I say, better than Shit Chapter 2. Number 7, Doctor Sleep. And fitting, hello, once again, another film I enjoyed and underperformed. I don't get the whole thing why good films so far underperformed. Why? I mean, what? You know, consider the fact that films people are going to see more Stephen King movies. Why this film underperformed? I mean, the Pet Sematary remake made over 100 million worldwide, and It Chapter 2 made over 150 million worldwide. You think that this is where people see more Stephen King now, especially also including the 2017 first one of It that made 700 million. Why this film underperformed? Why this film, budget of 45 million, domestically made about 30-some million, and then worldwide 70-some million, 71 million? Why this film underperformed, and why? Well, because it's a sequel. It's a sequel that to a film that people. I mean, here's the thing: The Shining. It's an all-time classic. I reviewed The Shining for Halloween month last year. Masterpiece. Stanley Kubrick, you know, is my favorite film from Stanley Kubrick, and one of two my best performances from Jack Nicholson. Shelley Duvall, great performance, even though the whole thing which she went through, especially with director Stanley Kubrick, but she pulled it off well. And the kid who played Danny Torrance, good job, as well as Scatman Carruthers as the cook. Shining, I love The Shining to death. One of my all-time favorite Stephen King movies. And then this one, then I knew, like, I reviewed the movie. You can check it out, my review of Doctor Sleep. I knew because we were making a sequel to The Shining. Well, it was based on the book. Doctor Sleep is also a book too, though. But we try to combine it with the movie as well as the novel of the first Shining movie, as well as the movie, and at the same time trying to live up to Stanley Kubrick's direction. It was definitely some mighty big shoes to fill in. You know, it was definitely a lot to take in to make this a sequel to live up to Stanley Kubrick's level of The Shining. Now, the director Mike Flanagan, who directed this movie, he's nowhere on the same level as Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is still way up here. Mike Flanagan is still down here, though, but I thought he did a good job with the film as well. But like I said, the difference is he's not on the same level, nowhere near the same level as Stanley Kubrick's directing is, his style. But the whole film itself, I appreciate they were trying to do like the same style as Stanley Kubrick. I mean, the way the film looks, and Ewan McGregor, who plays older Danny Torrance, I think he did a really good job. Especially with takes place after the first movie. Of course, they got a different kid to play young Danny Torrance, of course, but he did a good job too. And I really commend to find the right person. I forget the woman's name, but she really did look and acted like Shelley Duvall when she played Wendy in the first Shining. The girl really did a really good job. You know, how the way she looks and how the way she acted and portrayed the character of Wendy. She almost looked and sounded like Shelley Duvall from The Shining. I really give her credit to that as well. Pulled it off good. The guy who plays, well, not Scammon Carruthers though, but he places him because Scammon Carruthers has been dead for years. So this guy, another guy to play the cook. For the advice he was for the role, the appearance he was giving him, he did a good job too. Cliff Curtis, it was nice to see him. It's too bad that he died because, you know, the girl powered. You know, but I like Cliff Curtis as an actor. He did a good job for the role he had. And I forgot to mention my review of Dr. Sleep. There's no actor I didn't mention that was also in the movie. Bruce Greenwood. He's been in many movies as well. He has a small appearance in it though, but I like Bruce Greenwood as an actor too. It was nice to see him in there. Rebecca Ferguson as the villain, Rose Hat. I thought she played the villain really well. Makes it a villain that you really want to hate, because they're with her cult group, how they're feeding off the children who has the shining powers, make them stay young as well. The girl who played Abra, I thought she did a really good job. I thought she was not annoying, not irritating. She did a really good job as the kid Abra. You know, was helping with Danny. And I like the fact that she was strong and fought off the villain a couple times. The villain got beaten up by her because she's that powerful. But there was a couple of issues though I have with the movie. But despite the issues, I mean, the one issue is I think it did not need to be 2.5 hours. I think they could have cut some stuff out of it. That was the issue. And the one issue is that some of the, like this one girl I did not care for at all. This one girl that's Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat recruits, calls herself Andy Snakebite or Snakebite Andy. This one girl I thought you could have cut out of the movie. I did not care for her at all. I mean, especially it doesn't make any sense when she. I mean, Danny's supposed to be more powerful, but yet this girl has her with her power persuasion overpowers him to sleep. I don't know how that doesn't make any sense, because considering that Danny Torrance, his shining is very powerful, but yet this girl overpowers him. And then because of that, and also that she causes Cliff Curtis to shoot himself just before she dies. So yeah, that's one thing that doesn't make any sense as well. But other than that, though, those are the couple. How the way. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention how the way it ends. Just like for the last seconds of how it ends, that doesn't make any sense at all either. About those few nitpicks though, but I still enjoyed the movie. Especially, I enjoyed the third act when they go back to the Overlook Hotel. You get the rehashed, a little bit updated version of the music from The Shining. You know, wow, wow, wow. I did enjoy that. So the music, the score of the movie was good. That's another thing. I like the score, especially when they did updated the music from The Shining. And it was, and when I saw it, as soon as he went back to when we saw the Overlook Hotel, it just brought a smile to my face. It was like, yeah, the Overlook Hotel. That was my reaction when I saw this in the theater too. So, yeah, he went back to the Overlook Hotel, confronting, and when he goes and looks at the Overlook Hotel. He goes to his room, the red rum on the door still, and he's poking his head in the door where his father was, here's Johnny. That part there too. And surprisingly, when he sees the spirit, of his father, the guy who looks like his father when he's as the bartender though, but it looks like his father. And surprisingly, Henry Thomas plays Jack Torrance. Henry Thomas, Elliot from E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I was surprised like, holy shit, that's Elliot from E.T. and they did a good job getting him looking like young Jack Nicholson with the hair, beard, and the same clothes when they do a flashback of him chasing Danny with the axe. Yeah, so the role he had, Henry Thomas did a good job of, like, portraying as the young Jack Torrance, Jack Nicholson. So it was surprising to see him in that. And then the whole idea when Danny was scamming, well, not scamming, of course, the cook, told, you know, when he was a kid, that he locks up the spirits up in his head in these boxes with a hedge maze. I did like that. And then when the villain, when she sees a cool mention, when they mention these, when she walks in, she sees the elevator spewing out the blood as well. That was another cool thing from of course, from The Shining as well. Iconic scene. Cool to see that again. But the villain, Rose the Hat, she really gets it good. I was like smiling when she just gets it really good, because you hate this villain, and she really got her just desserts, basically. Because she doesn't know what Danny has locked up in his head. Especially when they were doing a chase when she was going after the girl, but in the hedge maze, and everybody's like, "This is not your mind, is it?" When she says to the girl, "This ain't your mind." That was in Danny's mind. And then when she gets him pinned down, and it's like, "I want to see what's in your mind," and he goes, "You're not gonna like it." But he's like, "They're very hungry." And he goes and unlocks all the boxes and all the spirits in the Overlook Hotel, like the twin girls, you know, "Come and play with us, Danny." And the bartender and that one guy when Shelley Duvall was looking down the hall, and this guy, because it was blood, he was like, "Great party." That guy's there. And they just go and feed off of her and just, Yeah, I was like, yeah, she deserves it. And it was then, but how the ending, how it was when he burns down the Overlook Hotel before he dies. I mean, you could have not killed him off though. Although it was good when the hotel's being burned down, he sees himself as a version of himself when he was a kid, along with sees his mother as well. But then the girl, when she's back at home, she sees that same rotting woman from the first movie, the rotting woman from room 237. I mean, so basically, burning down the hotel did not do anything, because you think it burned down the hotel, all the spirits that trapped inside would die finally. But no. She sees the rotting woman, and she's going to go in the bathroom and do the same thing that Ian McGregor did, lock up in his mind. But I'm thinking, how did burning down the hotel help if this spirit is still out there? So basically, burning down the hotel was pointless, basically. Man, I was talking to so much, because I really did enjoy this one. Despite the nitpicks, though, I thought I thought they were going to mess this up, because, you know, considering that The Shining is an all-time classic, I thought they were going to screw this up, you know, but they didn't. I thought overall they pulled it off very well. Trying to fill in Stanley Kubrick's shoes is not an easy thing. Trying to fill in Stanley Kubrick's shoes is not an easy thing to do. If I learn how to talk right again, it's not an easy thing to do. And overall, I thought they pulled it off very well. Yes, it's not the same. There's nowhere near on Stanley Kubrick's level. No, but trying to do the same style he had, you know. But I thought overall it was very well done. The film looked good. The cast did a good job. Visually good looking. The score I liked, especially with the updated version of the first movie. It was nice to see the Overlook Hotel again. It was. So yeah, Dr. Sleep I did enjoy. So that's number 7. Now moving on to number 6. Which I have right here. Number 6, and what I had to mention, how Jacob's Ladder and the Pet Sematary remake were both shit. Really was. But this remake, I did enjoy. And I also reviewed this. I also reviewed this before the year ended. I really enjoyed this remake. To me, it's like one of the best horror remakes I've seen in quite some time. The Child's Play remake. I enjoy this remake a lot. But what made the film work was which was not fully established in the first movie. Although I enjoy the first movie, it's a classic. But they fully established on this between like the relationship between Andy and Chucky. There was more of a bond in this movie than more did in the first movie. Because in the first movie, it was more of Chucky whispering into Andy's ear, basically. But here, This is what made the film work between the relationship between these two characters. You see them. First, Andy, he's not sure because because kids like his age wants to play with toys like dolls and stuff like that. But eventually, he gives it a try, and eventually, this is a cool toy. You see them, they're like sitting here, they're playing at games together and watching stuff. That's what I thought what made the film work. So, and not only that though, it was not a carbon copy of the original. They left out all the voodoo stuff out of it, which it was dumb in the first place though. But although I still like the first movie though, but here it was just a out of control robot toy, AI basically. So yeah, it did things very differently, and I thought the kid, Gabriel Bateman as Andy, I thought he did a really good job as well. Brian Tree Henry, once I mentioned when he was in Joker, and he also just in Don't Let Go as well. When he does a good job of playing the detective as well. There was a couple of issues though, like I mentioned though, Andre Plaza. I thought she was very weak as the mother of. She's not like the same acting what Catherine Hicks was in the first movie. And that's sad to say because I like her in Parks and Recreation. I liked her when she played April. What she had with her and Chris Pratt, basically. But she was funny in Parks and Recreation, but here, sad to say, she was very weak as the mother. Sad to say. Funny in Parks and Recreation, but she was, sad to say, not good in this movie. That's the only one issue I have with the movie was her, sadly. But the rest of the movie I enjoyed, like essentially had a lot of good practical gore in this movie, which I did not expect to see. I did not expect, especially with Audrey Plaza's asshole boyfriend, which finally he was cheating on his whole family. He was a married man when he pulled out the ring, so he's basically cheating on his wife and his 2 kids. It's like, oh, well, this guy's a dickhead, basically. So, and he gets it really good when Chucky, first when he falls to the ladder, breaks both his ankles, and in this, not like a lawnmower thing, but has blades in it. Gets his head, especially he gets his scalp ripped off and lands on a lawn gnome. But the next morning when Andy gets out of bed, sees his face skinned on a watermelon. It's like, oh shit, I did not expect to see that, especially how the way it looked. That was a good piece of gore right there, very good piece of gore right there, and with that perverted maintenance guy, kind of looks like me with a beer. It kind of looks like me with a beer and the glasses, without the long hair though. But he gets it good as well when because when Chucky, he was going to sell it on eBay, and he's also using it to spy on other tenants in the building. Shows what a creep he is. When Chucky's controlling because this by the same company, like thermostat or other stuff like that, when Chucky's controlling the temperature, and he's holding on to the steam pipe and is making it go hotter and burning his hands, and all of a sudden he lands and falls on the buzzsaw table. Very good gore when he gets cut and you see a leg fall off, and it's very gory in this movie. And the gore, practical gore, I do appreciate. Or when in the toy store, when the guy putting on the mascot costume and he gets stabbed, and we slowly walk towards the door, this little girl walks up to him, and all of a sudden, blood splurts all over the little girl. I'm like, that's messed up. And then also Mark Hamill, who voices Chucky, I thought he did a really good job as voicing Chucky. Not as the same level as what Brad Dourif did when he did it in the first movie, yes, but Mark Hamill, I thought he did a really better performance he did when he played Luke Skywalker in the new Star Wars movies. I'm sorry. His voice as Chucky is much better performance than he played Luke Skywalker, especially from The Last Jedi. Sorry to say. But he did a really good job voicing Chucky. You're my best friend. Andy, you're my best friend. Yeah, like I said, the bond, especially with what makes the film work is the bond between Andy and Chucky. That's what made the film work. Especially when the boyfriend heard Chucky, he's like, I wish him gone, but he didn't know that because he was recording the whole thing. Or when the cat heard him, he goes and kills the cat, and Other the director Lars Klevberg did a really good job. The score, Bear McCree, who did the score, like he said, he did the score from essentially he did the score for The Walking Dead. The score was all right though, but the next score he did for one of my favorite films, the next is much better though. But the cast overall was good, but except for sad to say, not Audrey Plaza, because I thought she was weak, very, very weak in the movie. But I said she was funny in Parks and Recreation, but not in this movie. But yeah, Child's Play, I reviewed it, you can check it out. So, more details on that. Definitely one of the best horror remakes I've seen in recent time. Well, in a while, I'd say. Because it's been a few years since I've seen a decent horror remake, because everything has been shit, especially much better than the Jacob's Ladder remake, and much better than the Pet Sematary remake. And this thing did something different. It wasn't a total copy and paste remake like the Lion King movie was. It did things differently. Instead of the voodoo aspect, they took it to as a AI doll out of control. So, yeah. And especially I forgot to mention the company Orion. I gotta mention that company though. They've been making a comeback. You know, I like the Belko experiment. They came up with this, and I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that company. It's been a company that hasn't been seen in years. So moving on to that was number 6, the Child's Play remake. Next, then we get to my top 5 now, and this one I also reviewed, and I thought this was an improvement. The sequel was an improvement over the previous one, considering how I was disappointed with the first one. But this was as a fan. But this here I thought was a much better than its predecessor, and I thought it was much more improvement. I reviewed it, so Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, while the first film got praise, this film didn't. And this film also underperformed as well, like compared to what the first film did and Kong Skull Island did. Why? Why are the good films on my list? Like 3, like this is like the third one that I enjoyed from this last year, and it underperformed. I don't know why. Why? Because people are tired of monster movies now? I don't know why. But Godzilla King of the Monsters from director Michael Dougherty, who directed Trick or Treat. I highly enjoyed. One of the best horror anthology movies there is, and especially great to watch on Halloween. I love Trick or Treat. Krampus was a disappointing movie, but here I thought he did a good job directing this. Like I see he was more passionate on doing this movie. I could definitely see that. The cast I thought overall did pretty good. Like I thought the human cast was much better than the human cast in the previous movie. Well, except for Bryan Cranston, but you already know about Bryan Cranston in Godzilla 2014. Stupid to kill him off early, especially when Godzilla entered the picture, so we never got to see Godzilla. But here the human cast was much better. Kyle Chandler, I thought he did a good job as I forgot what was his character name. Russell. I think it wasn't Russell. Sorry, give me a second here. Sorry about that. I was looking down there. I got a text. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at my text. So. But as I was saying, the human cast I thought was much better than the previous one. So yeah, so Kyle Chandler, I thought he did a good job. Now Vera Farmiga, performance wise, she was good though. But that was another issue I had, was how her character was. Like most of the movies, she seemed like she was a villain. All of a sudden, she does the switch. Oh, what have I done? And all that stuff. So, but performance wise, because I like Vera Farmiga, I like her from the Conjuring movies. I also liked her in Orphan. People forget to mention that people seem to forget that she was an orphan. So, but people know her from the Conjuring movies. But I liked her in those, and I liked her in Orphan. But she does a good job though, despite what her character was. That was the nitpick though. Her character was. Millie Bobby Brown, I mentioned before. I have not yet seen Stranger Things. Like I mentioned about David Harbour when he played Hellboy. I have no desire to see Stranger Things. Like I said before. No matter how people praise the film, praise the series. It's the best series they've seen as of yet, though. But I have no desire to see Stranger Things. But here, Millie Bobby Brown, I thought she did a good job as Maddie. Not like with the kid from Dr. Sleep. Not annoying, not irritating. So Millie Bobby Brown, yeah, she did a good job as well. Bradley Whitford, I think, was fun as the character when he was modeled after Rick and Morty, which is another show I've never watched. But Bradley Whitford, he was fun to watch. You know, with some of the dialogue he said was pretty funny. um, he was good. Charles Dance, I enjoy Charles Dance as an actor too. Which a lot of times he plays a bad guy though, which I absolutely love him. One of my favorite roles of his when we played in Last Action Hero as Benedict. But yeah, Charles Dance, I like Charles Dance. He did a good job as the character. What was it, Jonah? You know, long live the king. Sally Hawkins, who was a character that came back from the previous film when she was Ken Watanabe's assistant. She was alright, though I honestly didn't care about her, but she was there. Tom Middleditch, that's one character I did not care for in this movie. I thought he was the comic relief. I thought he was not funny. Especially that one unfunny joke when they mentioned, oh, what is it called? King Ghidorah. Oh, what do you say? Gonorrhea? One joke I did not thought was funny, and this guy was not funny either. That was another nitpick I had with it, was that one guy. David Strathairn, for the small role he had when he came back also from the 2014 movie, I like him as an actor too, so he was fine. Ken Watanabe, I enjoyed him more than the previous one. He was given more to do in this, especially my favorite scene in this movie when he sacrificed himself, mixed in with Bear McCree's score, like I mentioned about Child's Play, the guy who helped do the score for The Walking Dead. That's one score I really enjoy the score for this movie. Really great score, especially the scene when Ken Watanabe sacrificed himself to set off the nuke to recharge Godzilla. You know, the whole choir type song score, and then when Ken Watanabe as Dr. Serizawa, you know, goes and touches Godzilla, and Godzilla's looking at him saying in Japanese, "Goodbye, old friend." Really, I thought it was an emotional, effective scene right there. And when the bomb goes off, it's silent. So I really enjoyed that scene. That was the best part of the movie for me, was Serizawa's sacrifice in that movie. And then with King Ghidorah, yeah, Godzilla got beaten up like he did in the previous one, but not as much as he did in this movie, to me. But when he kicked ass against King Ghidorah, was good. And then when Mothra came in, and he fights Rodan, stabs Rodan with his stinger. And listen, visually, it's really great looking. Visually, really great. Like I said, Michael Dougherty had a passion for this, and I can see why all this passion put in, especially in the visual effects. The effects in this movie are really great. And you get a little callbacks, too, from the original movies, like with Serizawa's sacrifice. And they mentioned the oxygen destroyer that was supposed to kill the monsters. That was mentioned in the original movie as well. And, of course, hearing Godzilla's original cry a couple times in the movie, that was cool to hear, since I always loved his cry. And we mentioned, you also hear Mothra's original screech as well. And then when Godzilla gets recharged, and you have that score playing, that was from the other previous scores from the other movies as well. That was cool too. And when he goes thermonuclear, disintegrates King Ghidorah, and then all the monsters just bowing down to him. Especially when he looks at Rodan, gives him this, and then Rodan just goes like, and then Godzilla gets his last roar as standing on top. He's now king of the monsters. And then I loved during the credits. I loved the updated version of Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. Whoa, no! They say he's got to go, 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 Godzilla! To me, this year, this was the best song I've heard of last year. I love that updated version of Godzilla. Ever since I saw this, because I saw this on my birthday along with my mother, because she wanted to see a movie with me, so it was a great movie experience, especially seeing with my mother this, because she hardly goes out to see movies nowadays, so it was also a great movie theater experience to see this along with my mother, especially for my birthday. So yeah, but it was especially great hearing that remix version of Godzilla. I really love that song. To me, it was like one of the best remix versions of a song I've heard in God knows how long. And then setting up for King Kong versus Godzilla versus King Kong, which shows Skull Island and then the carving of the drawing of him fighting King Kong. So hopefully that doesn't disappoint when it comes out next year. So, but I enjoy Godzilla King of the Monsters much better than the previous one, Godzilla 2014. Definitely, Michael Dougherty did a really great job with this movie. The score I love, such as the songs, the human cast for the most part that was really good, especially like Kyle Chandler, Millie Bobby Brown, Charles Dance, Ken Watanabe as well. Oh, I forgot to mention Zig Zhang, who plays the twins, which it was also referenced for the original as well. You know, the small identical fairies. That was a cool reference as well. And even if I've mentioned Joe Morton from Terminator, Speed, who plays who plays Brooks from Kong Skull Island, who was also in the company of Monarch as well. That character from Kong Skull Island, Joe Morton plays him, but much older. It was cool to see Joe Morton too. It's visually beautiful looking. The effects are really great in this movie. So, yeah, there's a lot for me to take. I'm just taking a breather here because I'm so excited about this movie. Yeah, the Godzilla, and the thing is, when there was a battle, it did not cut away like 2 or 3 times like it did in the previous movie. That was another thing that pissed me off. You don't cut away from a Godzilla fight. He's the king of the monsters, and that's what it is. You don't cut away from a fight like this. Which it didn't, which I'm glad for. So yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters, I really did enjoy it. That's number 5. Improvement, definitely, over the previous film. I just don't understand what the hate it gets, though. But if you like or dislike Godzilla, that's fine. So that was number 5. Now, number 4. To me, the best horror movie of this I've seen last year. I also reviewed it as well for a part of Halloween month. Crawl. I enjoyed Crawl. To me, the best horror film I've seen this last year. And it was written up. It's also one of Quentin Tarantino's favorites of last year, too, so surprisingly. Yeah, and especially it's directed by Alexander Aja, who directed the 2006 Hills of Eyes remake, which I love. That's one of the best horror film remakes. He did a really great job with this movie. I like the whole concept, during this whole entire Category 5 hurricane, and all of a sudden this father and daughter are trapped in their house during this big flood, and there's alligators in there. And the girl, Kaya Lardo, as I meant to pronounce her last name again, from the Maze Runner movies. I thought she did a really good job as this character of, what was her character? Haley. I thought she did a really great job. And her father, played by Barry Pepper from Saving Private Ryan, and also including Battlefield Earth. He was also in that as well, yeah. But Saving Private Ryan, The Green Mile, other films I've seen him in. He did a good job as playing as the father. These two work well together on the survival, I guess, these alligators. And also, the dog didn't die. Which, as I mentioned, my mother, when I got this DVD, I had my mom watch it. And the whole time she was saying, I was keeping my mouth shut because I didn't want to say anything. She kept on asking me, is the dog going to die? Is the dog going to die? Because, my mom's a dog lover. So she doesn't like seeing dogs getting killed in movies. So I just kept my mouth shut, like this. She kept on pestering. Kyle saying, Kyle, is the dog gonna die? He said, better not, I'll be pissed. Her words, not mine. That's how much of a dog lover she is. And yes, so the dog did not die, which, yeah. But yeah, and the CGI of the alligators, I could tolerate them. I thought it was not that bad CGI on the alligators. I thought it was overall very decent on the alligators. And I thought the whole concept was a really cool idea, and you get some good kills, especially when some good gore bits, because especially when these 3 thugs are stealing robbing a convenience store, and all of a sudden these guys get killed. It's like, ooh, that's brutal deaths. Or for one cop that was outside, he gets tossed around and gets torn apart by 3-4 other alligators. Or the one good gory bit I did not expect to see when Barry Pepper, when he gets his arm torn off. First, he gets bended backwards and all of a sudden yanked, torn off. It's like, oh shit! I did not expect that. But yeah, and these two survive and they get picked up in the end. So, Crawl, I highly enjoyed Crawl. It's definitely the best horror film I've seen last year. And the film did pretty well on a low budget that it had. Made about 90 million worldwide on a low budget of what, 10 million? Definitely a big hit. So yeah, that deserved the big the box office it got. And not only for director Alexander Haja I give credit to, but hey, Sam Raimi, the director of the Evil Dead movies, also produced this as well. So hey, Sam Raimi, when he produced this film, he did a good job with having a hand in it. And the score, who did the score for this movie? I thought it was the music. There were two people who did the music for this film. I thought they did a good job with the score. And what am I gonna say about Crawl? It's a great horror film, yeah. And again, with a certified fresh. But here in this case, I think it deserves this fresh rating because, well, we agree to disagree how Rotten Tomatoes works. So, but to me, I love this film. It definitely deserves the praise. It did get the praise, so I definitely say it deserves the praise it got because, really, great horror movie. And I just hope that director Alexander Aja gets more movies like this, makes more like this. Because I do think this is better than Piranha. This is definitely better than High Tension. I do like I like Mirrors, but I think I put this definitely above Mirrors. But I do think it's better than well, actually I take that back. I love the Hills of Eyes remake. I think that's the director's best film. But this is definitely easily, but maybe I think that it's hard to say. Is it this film is better than the Hills of Eyes remake or the other way around? Because I love the Hills of Eyes remake. I don't know. It's hard to say, but Alexander Aja did a great job with this movie. Yeah, and this does say a suspenseful thrill ride. I definitely say this film finally for horror movies. You can't scare anybody with horror nowadays. You have to try to scare them with suspense, and this film had suspense in it. To me, it did. The two characters between father and daughter, they did a really great job in this movie. Barry Pepper and K.S. Garlardo did a really great job. So I love Crawl. That's number 4. Number 3, and as I aforementioned, none of my top 10 films have no Disney whatsoever because I'm tired of Disney. I think they're getting too much. They're too much nowadays. Although I did like Dumbo and Frozen 2, but they're honorable mentions. None of my top 10 movies are Disney. But the one animation company I give this to me of last year, and that is of DreamWorks, because DreamWorks I can see they're trying to be like they can't, first of all, but they can't catch up to Disney, okay? That's why they had their own thing, but yeah. But the best thing but DreamWorks to me, the only animated film from DreamWorks, which I think the best animated film, to me the best animated movie of last year, and that's from DreamWorks, and that is the finale of the trilogy. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I was juggling between, was this the second film I liked this year or the third? So I finally decided to put this number 3. How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World. It was a sad but yet satisfying how to end this franchise. Now I know there was one I got the other one, the Homecoming, but that takes place. How this film ends with them riding on the dragons with their kids. That takes place after before Homecoming does. Because that then is saying, oh, we want to ride dragons? Then that's when the ending of this takes place. So, but How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. The voice cast, once again, all the return cast members for most part, but Jay Berthel as Hiccup, America Ferrera as Astrid, really great job. I enjoy their voice casting. It was cool they brought back Gerard Butler, even though he died as when he played Hiccup's father, Stoic. He died in the second film, though, but he was brought back mainly for flashbacks when Stoic had told when Hiccup when he was a kid about the legend of the hidden world for dragons. So yeah, for bringing back, it was cool that they brought back Gerard Butler, so he did a good job once again as Stoic. Kate Blanchett plays Hiccup's mother, Volka. She did a good job as well. Jonah Hill as Snotlout. Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Fish Legs. Even Kirsten Wiig as Rough Nut. And as far as I know, the only thing that was why T.J. Miller decided not to come back as Tough Nut, because he voiced in all the movies for the first two movies, including all of the series of the animated series, as well as the shorts. I don't understand why he didn't come back to voice Tough Nut in this movie, as well as the new short Homecoming. I don't get why. As for the other one, F. Murray Abraham as the villain. Who was the villain in this? I forget what was the villain. Was it Grendel or the Grim, or I forget the guy's name, but he's the villain. F. Murray Abraham, yeah, he did a good job as the villain as well. And it was a very sad but satisfying. It was very sad how the way how the film ended, but it was also satisfying at the same time because hey, if it's time to end the franchise, it ends the franchise. Like nowadays, they want to end. They want to end franchise. They would keep on bringing stuff up, and it ends up being shitty movies like Terminator and Star Wars. When it's time to end, you end them, and this is where you end them. And it also shows, how the dragons don't exist. Bull. They have to keep it hidden from other people. So, but I love How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. It was a really a good finale for the franchise. I've always been a fan of this franchise, which I enjoyed the animated series and the shorts. So, and I love the first two movies. So yeah, to me, yeah, I gave DreamWorks the best animated film of last year, and this is from DreamWorks, not from Disney. I'm not giving Disney a pass on my top 10 list. Well, I said I like Dumbo and I like Frozen too, but nothing on my top 10 list is Disney. This here I give to DreamWorks. I'm not giving Disney the pass this time for having any of my top 10 lists of 2019. This I give is DreamWorks. But it's figures if it gets nominated for an Oscar, it is nominated for a Golden Globe though. If it gets nominated for an Oscar, this film's not gonna win because you have Toy Story 4 and you get Frozen 2 on top of that, and those are two big films. The chances are this is gonna win a Golden Globe or an Oscar for Best Animated Movie. Although I was surprised that the second film won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Film. I was surprised by that, beating out Big Hero 6. Although for the Oscars it was the other way around. But if it wins a Golden Globe or an Oscar for Best Animated Film, I'll be definitely surprised. Yeah, but How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, great way to end the franchise. Sad to say though, but I say, is it when it end franchise, you end the franchise. So that's number 3. So How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. That's number 3. So then moving on to number 2, which is a film that I also enjoyed from last year, from a franchise I grew up loving, and I'm glad I saw it. Number 2, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I love this film, and especially I thought they were going to make for years that people wanted to see a live action version of Pokemon, and how will they make it work. Here, they really did bang up job bringing the world of Pokemon to the big screen, live action wise. And there's another one who also had passion for this project as well, director Rob Letterman. Like with Michael Dougherty for Godzilla King of the Monsters, here I can say the same thing for director Rob Letterman. This is the guy who directed, he was one of the co-directors of Monsters vs. Aliens, although he directed Gulliver's Travels, that sucked. Everyone has their hiccups, but yeah, Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black sucked. Then he also directed Goosebumps as well. But here he was definitely passionate about this project, and he did a really great job with this film. And Ryan Reynolds, he also knocked out of the park as voicing Pikachu. Another one he was also passionate about doing as well. He really knocked out of the park as voicing Pikachu, because Ryan Reynolds, he's been at the top of his game recently as the Deadpool movie, especially Deadpool 2, which I thought was better than the first movie, and then this film. And I'm also curious to check out his next film called Free Guy. I'm really curious to check that film out. So, and I like the trailer for that. So, Free Guy, that was wrong. Free Guy, I'll definitely give a look because Ryan Reynolds has been on the top of his game recently, but he was passionate about doing this one as well. So he was definitely did a bang up job as voicing Pikachu. And Justice Smith, I thought his performance was better than what he gave in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, because that was one fault I have with Fallen Kingdom. Even though I love the sequel and that was an improvement over Jurassic World, but one fault I have was him. I thought he was annoying, especially when he screamed like a girl when the Barrows came in. Ah! You know. So, here his performance as Tim Goodman, I thought his performance was an improvement over he gave in Fallen Kingdom. Catherine Newton, who voices I forgot what was the girl's name in this, which I thought she also did a good job as well. So, in which her with her Psyduck as well when Ryan Reynolds is speaking, she's like, trying to give Psyduck make his headache worse to use his psychic powers. Ken Watanabe once again Ken Watanabe, although his role in this is minimal though, but it was cool to see Ken Watanabe in the world of Pokemon, although his performance I like better than in Godzilla King of the Monsters. But it was cool to see Ken Watanabe in this, which was Pokemon a Snubbull. But he was fine in the role we had for the little role he's given. Bill Nighy playing Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, and star of also of Edgar Wright's trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. When he plays when he plays the villain Clifford Howard, or was it Howard Clifford, or the other way around? When he transfers his mind to Mewtwo, it was cool. And the fight, when his Pikachu does his Volt Tackle, cool to see, and Electro Ball. And the visual effects, bringing the world of Pokemon is great in this movie. To me, it's not going to happen, though, but I wish this film would get an Oscar nod for best effects. Especially with the details of the Pokemon, Pikachu's being furry, and the scales on Charizard. The details of that and all the other Pokemon. I thought it was really great for visually great looking to bring the Pokemon to life on the big screen. And the score by Henry Jackman, I think it was. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, Henry Jackman, I thought it was a really great score, fitting of being in the world of Pokemon. And there's a couple of nods from the franchise as well, like hearing the Pokemon theme, and you hear the Pokemon theme, and also Ryan Reynolds, he's also singing it as well. And then the reference, being canon to Pokemon the first movie, when you see a flashback when Mewtwo was in captivity in this, the lead scientist says, "Oh, we captured Mewtwo, the same one that escaped from the Kanto region 20 years ago." 20 years ago, 1999, 2019, 1999, that's when Pokemon the first movie came out. That's when, we escaped from the Kanto region. So that was a very cool nod to the first movie, bringing that, hence, this takes place in the same universe as the Pokemon world was from the Pokemon, especially the first movie. So, while I look forward to seeing the sequel, hopefully when they bring Ash, bring especially Ash in, and hopefully they don't do the stupid thing with that dumb theory that throughout the whole entire series, how he was the same age, he was in the coma, that's why he was in the same age, and all that stuff, those theories. I just hope they don't do that, and when they make the sequel this, because by 20 years, he was still 10 years old in the series. 20 years, by this time in this universe here, he's 30, in his 30s. So they make a sequel, hopefully they bring in Ash, hopefully the right age. So hopefully they don't screw that up. But yeah, I still look forward to seeing the sequel. Hopefully they do that correctly with Ash, if they decide to bring an Ash in there. We'll see Team Rocket, or Misty, Brock, Giovanni, and other characters too. But yeah, I love Detective Pikachu. It was really, although I never played the game, but it was cool. They finally made a live-action Pokemon movie, and I thought they did it right. I love Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds, top-notch job as Pikachu. Yeah, and Justice Smith, his performance was an improvement. Visually great looking of the Pokemon. The little references, and Rob Letterman did a really great job with directing this film. I think like I said, he was passionate about this project, and I definitely see why. Like I said, the same thing with Michael Dougherty when we did Godzilla King of the Monsters. So that's number 2. And you're probably all guessing what's number 1, because I mentioned a lot of times in my previous videos what's number 1. So, probably you've already guessed what's number 1. Which this time, besides the Marvel movies, I had my privilege of taking my dad to see this as well, and he got a good experience as well. But number 1, as I mentioned before, John Wick 3, Parabellum. John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Another. I enjoy the John Wick movies. 1, I enjoy. 2, I also was also great. John Wick 3, another great kick-ass sequel. Keanu Reeves, once again as John Wick, really top-notch and kick-ass performance. Definitely kicked more ass in this movie as well, and there's a lot of the kills that was more cool looking. You know, especially with the fight this huge guy in the library, kills him with the book, or when he gets the horse to kick some of the bad guys' face in. That was cool to see as well. But some of the kills I thought were pretty damn different and cool looking. Like I said, with the book, with the horse, then you get these fights on the motorcycles. And with the villains, it was cool to see Mark Dacascos in a film, which I haven't seen him in a long time in a big film like this. So yeah, it was cool to see Mark Dacascos. I enjoyed his fight between him and Keanu Reeves. And it was like, especially the line we said with Keanu Reeves, like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of yours." So, and the other returning cast members like Ian McShane as Winston, he did a good job as well. Lance Riddick, who plays the concierge of the Continental Hotel, he does a good job too. Lawrence Fishburne came back from the previous one as the Baller King. You know, once his Matrix co-star. And then as for other characters, like I said, Mark Dacascos did a really great job. It was nice. Angelica Houston. It was cool to see her in this. Halle Berry, really kick-ass performance especially with her and her dogs. Really great action sequences, especially with her and her dogs, training these dogs as well. Just biting on attacking the bad guys as well. I love all the action sequences in this. Like I said, when Halle Berry with her dogs, and with the fights between Keanu Reeves and the other mercenaries, and Mark Dacascos. Although one thing I would say, there was that one woman who represents the high table talking with Ian McShane and other people, and Angelica Houston. I wish she would have got her comeuppance as well, though. But hopefully they'll do that in the 4th film. That's what they want to do. But I wish I think it was her right there. I wish she would have got her comeuppance in this film, because you also want to hate her as well, because she's like from the high table, and what they want to do to get rid of John Wick. So, but I look forward to seeing the 4th one. As hopefully they don't screw this up. I don't. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the 4th film will be just as great as the 3rd film without any screw ups. I just hope not. And especially when it ended, with him, Keanu Reeves talking to Lawrence Fishburne, it's like, how they're gonna get back at the high table. It's like, are you pissed? And Keanu Reeves goes, hell yeah. And especially expanding on this world of assassins, I always enjoyed this, how, especially when the John Wick started, how this world of assassins work, so. And Chad Stahelski really great job. Although didn't I read an article? There was some bullshit thing he said about. It was a while back, but if it was true, and the guy, he did a great job with this movie. I think that I think it was the guy. He said some bullshit thing about on an article I read. I can't remember. I just hope that this doesn't affect how the fourth film will go. I just hope not, please. I just hope this fourth film will be just as good. And it looks like we don't need a spin-off of the... I heard they were doing a spin-off of the Continental. We don't need that. Just make the films. That's it. As long as Keanu Reeves is on board, I'm looking forward to seeing the fourth film. Hopefully they don't screw it up. Just hope they don't. The score by Tyler Bates was... so Tyler Bates and Joel J. Richard was good as well. I love the action sequences. They're kick-ass. And Keanu Reeves, the guy is still in his 50s. He's still mobile, and it looks like he's still doing his own stunts, especially in the second film when he's rolling down the stairs with Common. So it looks like this guy's still doing his own. Looks like he still does his own stunts. He does, such for a guy his age. He's still mobile, and like with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, he's in his 50s, and he's still doing his own stunts. And agree, hands down, one of the year's best action movies. Well, not one. I call it the year's best action film of 2019. But yeah, it's still a good statement though. Still, yeah. But I love this film to death. It was one of the John Wick films is the best action trilogy I've seen in ages. I mean, other action films I enjoyed. I love Hardcore Henry. I love Dredd. The fourth Rambo movie. Those are the best. And also, the Raid Redemption. Can't forget the Raid Redemption as well. Those have been the best action films I've seen in a long time because a lot of times action films are just not as good. Well, I like some of the Fast and Furious movies though, but hey, it's unrealistic though. But hey, it's action though. But it's action films like these that are like those are harder to come by, and I enjoy all the John Wick movies. I just hope the fourth film does not get screwed up. I just hope not. So just keep our fingers crossed. And especially the film, since Keanu Reeves is on top of everything, now is on top of his game. Especially, this film grossed more than double when both the first two films combined, more than 300, or I think close to 350 million worldwide, or was it? No, 321 million worldwide. This became the highest gross easily, both domestic and worldwide, surpassing both the first two films combined. That's because people were really looking forward to seeing this, and it paid off. And now Keanu Reeves wants to do a fourth Matrix film, and then the third Bill and Ted film, which I'm not entirely sure on now. Although I saw the behind the scenes when he voiced Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4. It looked like he was having fun in that role. Duke Kaboom, I saw the behind the scenes on that though when he was in the video booth recording. Looked like he was having fun in that role as Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4. So I'll give Toy Story 4 a look though, but not right now though. But Keanu Reeves, yeah. I would say I'm not sure on a fourth Matrix film and a third Bill and Ted film now, but I look forward to seeing the fourth John Wick film. I just hope they don't screw it up. But yeah, this was easily my number one film of last year, and I'm glad I took my dad to see this film because, hey Dad, let's see the third John Wick film. He said okay. Because he only goes to see the Marvel films, though. Because he doesn't go to the movies anymore now, so. But yeah. I'm glad he had a great experience seeing the third John Wick film. And it was a great experience seeing the third John Wick in the theater. Love this film. Definitely deserves my number one spot. So that's it. That's my top 10 films of 2019. And it actually went on longer than my worst list. It's much more over an hour now. Much more longer than I did in my worst list now. God dang. Whatever, tried not to make it as long, but it ended up being as long as it is. But anyway, yeah. But that's my top favorite best films of 2019. Right there. Number 10, Don't Let Go. Number 9, Ad Astra. Number 8, Joker. Number 7, Doctor Sleep. Number 6, Child's Play. Number 5, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Number 4, Crawl. Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Number 2, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And number 1, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. So that's it, everyone. So that's my top favorite films of 2019. And the reason why I did for my top worst list and this film, why I'm standing right here, I just figured I'd do it from a different angle, just for a change, doing it from a different angle. So right here, instead of most time doing it sitting over there. So from that angle. So I figured I'd do it from this angle right here, just for a change. If anyone was ever wondering. So there you go. I always try to mix things up a bit sometimes in your videos. So yeah. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Like I say, if you agree or disagree, if you like any of these films, that's cool. If you dislike any of these films that I made my list, that's cool too. I respect everybody's opinion. So let's say we agree to disagree. So that's my top 10 favorite films of 2019. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next more movie reviews and other videos to come. And we'll see you later.